Split. There we go. Thank you. Go on, expert. Hold out a couple extra series, please. In the bottom right-hand side, our red Zerg player is Rogue. And he got proxy racks twice in a row when he played against Kua, the blue Terran, in the group stages. So again, that was a match which wasn't really too important because at that stage, Rogue pretty much knew he would advance no matter what. So the O2 didn't really do much to him. And even though he took 5th seed, he just did this the hard way. And has now made his way up through the bracket, which I'm happy about. Because in the European bracket, we really just had, for the first couple matches at least, you know, the player who was seeded ahead then did a little bit better, right? So kind of hoping Rogue puts up a fight. It'd be great to see a Rogue Innovation in rematch in the next round as well, because that series was pretty great as well when we saw it in the groups. So yeah, excited for all of that as we see Rogue going to start moving his Overlord up through to the top left-hand side. My StarCraft has a little bit of a moment to itself. First expert, now StarCraft. Everyone's got that Monday morning syndrome, huh? I don't. I'm feeling great. Are you guys feeling good? You guys excited for even more StarCraft? I hope so. I hope so. Overlord moving to the top left-hand side as that spawn pool sets up. Mark BT coming in with the 51-month resub just to make the early game a little bit more intriguing because not much is going on just yet. Thank you so much for the 51 months, someone who's been here from the very start. Thank you so much, really appreciate it. Thank you so very much. It's a long time. These are acceleration zones in the middle as well, if you didn't know just yet. So these do speed up movement. Honestly, I feel like there's been no negative connotations from this. We saw Euthermal accidentally speed into Clem's army in one of the group stage TVTs. Other than that, I kind of like them. Like, they're not like in your face. They're not like, oh my god, like, you know, you get caught in them and you lose. I kind of like it. Like, I feel like it's a decent feature to add. I feel like there's a lot of negativity about slow zones, and that's natural, right? Because I feel like when you slow things down, it feels like your units are being nerfed a bit. And when that happens, obviously it becomes a bit of a problem, right? Because then it's like, oh, you know, it's not, you know, it's taken away what my units are meant to do. Acceleration zones have a bit of a different process to that, right? So I kind of like it. As we do see, this Reaper in the end is going to give the third hatchery position up, and that will drop down. So yeah, I kind of like the acceleration zone so far. I wouldn't say necessarily that the maps have been... I don't feel necessarily like we've seen too much play around them or anything, although we've had a couple cool moments around them. So I feel like they're not in your face, but I also feel like they don't have much of an impact, which also might be why they're not garnering many complaints, right? Whether that's a bad or good thing, I'm not too sure. And thank you so much as well, just before we start talking more about the game, Talmorias for the subscription as well. Thank you for subscribing us. Tier 1 sub, dropping the actual hard-earned cash on it, not just the Twitch Prime. Thank you so much. Alright, so as Zerglin's speed finishes up from Rogue, he's also going Overlord speed, so scouting going to be a priority for him early. Because this is going to be a Hellion Banshee opening from Kua, so Starport to the Tech Lab, and we will see the Banshee starting up. So we'll get Cloak as well, and we've seen this really kind of... people have been describing it as this ancient build, and it kind of is Hellion Banshee, right? Like, it's the good old, at some point it comes back into the meta again style, and it's exactly what's happening. Hellion Banshee has become way more frequently used once again, as these couple of Marines are able to push this Overlord out, down into the middle of the map once more. And the rest of these Hellions are going to be coming back up to the top side or into the center as well. As you see, our Cloak is about halfway done. A few Hellions and a Reaper out the left-hand side, going to try and make their way in towards this here. And they're going to find a couple of Zerglings already, maybe a drone or two to be picked away at as well. A lot of Zerglings actually going down as we see this creep continue to spread out over the right-hand side. I'm just going to be seeing this factory lifting off, moving to a reactor, and two more Hellions out into the middle to join up and make up those numbers, as we do see. Well, just wanted to try and deny some creep spread whenever possible. Going into bio behind this is the very typical follow-up, as you will just see the two extra barracks now also being placed. What is my mouse doing? Hello? Okay, my mouse has just completely died. Hello? Did my mouse, middle mouse button, just die? Literally? What is going on? I can't control... Okay, well, that's interesting. My mouse works, but the middle mouse is just like... ugh, like actual rip. That's so strange. Okay, well, we'll just have to do some mini-map observing, guys, as we do see the Hellions and the Banshee coming in for the moment. We're going to be seeing a little bit of damage being done, as we're going to be seeing the Cloak Banshee just making the most of being out on the side. 5 workers killed. Yeah, only a couple of Hellions lost, so far pretty good, actually, from Q. He's trading quite well and keeping the Hellions alive. Even gets a new group teamer here as well. As those two Banshees together from Q will now hang out over on the left. ZvT setting up as well. Again, they're ready to go. This makes 0 sense, guys. It's not that the middle mouse is broken. It's that when I hold the middle mouse down, it sends the sensors all over the place, right? Does that mean the middle mouse is broken? Or is that just the... That's really weird, right? Because, like, the middle mouse is working. Like, I can zoom in, I can zoom out. It doesn't do anything crazy there. I can hold it down. It's when I move with the middle mouse held down, it's like, whoa. Like, if I go, like, a long way, it just jumps. Very, very interesting. I'm sorry, apologies for that. Just trying to theory craft this in my mind a little bit. I use the middle mouse to observe a lot, so this might be a bit tough. Anyways, we'll do our best as we do see the Mutalisks going to be on the way up here shortly. The Marine Hellion. In the middle of the map, I mean, Siege Tank's going to be the production choice for the moment, although as Mutalisks come up, maybe we'll see something more like a movement in towards the Widow Mines. As we're just going to be seeing those Hellions continue to gather up. Marines and a tank moving around into the center of the map then, and just continuing out around the right side. A few more Zerglings setting up on the top. We do see a couple of Medivacs and the Banshee. Also just setting up to try and move around in towards the center. Just going to be seeing a couple of creep tumors going down. We'll see how Marine's going to lift up and come back around the top. Have Mutalisks gotten a lot more popular? Is that just me? Asks 999 ELB in the chat. It's one of those things where it's just become kind of meta again, because Hydras are kind of well figured out. They're not as great as they used to be, and there's a lot more bio play, and because you see more bio play, people are just tending to go Lingbane Muta once again. It's just the way the meta works, right? Things come in and out of fashion, and yeah, Mutas have been more popular. It's kind of because we're seeing more bio. We saw mech for a long time. I feel like when you see bio over an extended period, eventually Mutas come back in, because Mutas are not bad, as much as some Zergs wanted to tell you for years and years. Do you see the rest of the Mutas moving away down the bottom side? A couple of Marines coming through, the Banshee there as well, and again just pushing through the center as we see a couple of creep tumors being picked off. Mutalisks going to try and intercept that on the top side, and just still seeing this push down the bottom. Is this Hatchery going to be taking a lot of damage? So Hatchery will go down, and I don't know what it is about Q this game, but I think he just had a good start in terms of trading, and from there it's just not stopped from him at all. It's just kept on going, as now we see a 4th base have to be retaken on the bottom left-hand side. Yeah, Rogue just does not seem to have a way to fight this. He's waiting for Bane speed. He's waiting for the Zergling upgrades. But that's going to take a little while, and that's going to be a little bit of an issue if you've got to wait for that, and you've already lost a 4th. I mean, on top of that, Q is well on his way to 2-2, so he's going to be really ahead on those upgrades as well a little bit later on. That's a bit more Lingbane. Still setting up in the center, and here we go. The rest of this army coming around. A couple of tank shots helping out initially. I mean, there's Marines left over. Now there's a lot of Mutalisks, but the problem is for these Mutas, they're going to lose a couple of their numbers just because the Marines are still here in decent-ish. Like, they'll clean up, but it wasn't exactly a free cleanup, right? Now Q is already bringing more Marines through the center. He's got even more on the left side. He's switching into Widow Mines as well, so he's moving away from the Siege Tanks, which again, against Lingbane Muta is not always the best way to play. The Widow Mines, just the splash from those are really nice, plus the fact they're much more mobile, which you need against Lingbane Muta, and they can hit up as well, so it also affects the Mutalisks. So in general, they're just a better choice outside of the first kind of push or two of the game, as we do see this Hatchery gets killed off. And 2-2 upgrades about to finish up here then, as we see a 4th command center from Kira as well. So as he gets his 2nd factory up, really just building into base number 4, and really feels like a game from start to finish that Kira has been in full control of so far. Another tank will siege, and this army of Rogue trying to come back in again. Still a bit of Lingbane in the bottom left-hand side, as Mutalisks also coming around, trying to see what they can get up to. They're going to move their way towards the siege tank there initially, and well, in the end, not really commit for much. The rest of these Lings backing away through the center, and Again, 22 more Banes or so. All we're seeing for the moment is Howling Bane Muta Force. It's going to go counterattack, so this is what we're going to be having as an interesting moment in this game. Where Kira is still pushing aggressively down the bottom left. But Rogue absolutely has counterattack possibilities. However, he saw this army and apparently feels like he doesn't want to fight that. He's going to change to the right side and try and hit the fourth base as it comes up. It's great timing because it's before the planetary fortress. Here we'll have to move over to the side to try and deal with that as the Mutalisks are just looking to try and get a tank or so. The SCV is actually pretty well protected by the missile turrets choking this up. So, again, not much for Rogue to really do here. A couple of Banes would have gone a long way to help in that because they just forced those SCVs to split up in that little kind of blockade they found themselves in. And just a few Banes would have done so much there. Because not even Banes connecting on the workers, but just Banes opening up the area. As you see, a little bit of a fight here. Rogue fighting off creep to push in. I mean, hoping maybe that Kira doesn't have much of his army here or didn't reinforce back from the right side. Not happening though, so again, that's not exactly looking crazy either, as we will see a hat-trick from Rogue on the far right. That's going to be coming up. Still just Marines and Widow Mines. Coming into the center, the rest of these Mutalisks from Rogue will make their way up to the top left as well, and just seeing the Thor coming out, really trying to help push these Mutalisk numbers back. I mean, in the end here, Rogue has... I've been talking a lot about how Q has been doing well, but Rogue has stopped Q doing too much more damage. He's been set up across 5 bases now, with 6 base on the far right-hand side. It definitely looks a lot better for Rogue than it did, 3-4 minutes ago. So I think Rogue's starting to look a little bit better. And yeah, he didn't really deny the 4th base or anything. The biggest issue for Rogue is that he took a while to get here, and because of that, there is still repercussions from earlier. 3-3 is a very far way off here from Rogue, right? He's going into Hive just now, so he's going to be very behind on that upgrade. He doesn't have like a massive bank. He's also only 80-ish drones, which maybe would want to be like 85 or so. As you do see him defending pretty well across over this side, though. So again, pretty good defenses, pretty good pushbacks. This Kua will be running away from those few Banes, looking to try and move in and connect. The rest of the bio coming in as well. A couple of Thors firing. More of this bio is still pressing down into the center. Hatcher going to take a bit of damage. He's going to get cancelled. Creep team is going down. All being sent up on the bottom, as we do see the rest of this all pushing through. Well, Widow Mine's getting cleaned out, and again, this army of Q is still pushing the bottom left. Bane's wanting to come up here as well, as they're going to crash on in towards Marauders, etc. Thor is just about surviving. These Thors are really important to have against these Mutalisks, as we see Q just going to pull back a few more of these Marines. The Widow Mine or two actually getting decent shots in the start of this, and now we're going to be seeing the rest of this army from Q having to back away, and Rogue is doing this off of just the 2-2 upgrades. Nice split away, gets rid of another Widow Mine, and suddenly Kira is on the defensive. Another Widow Mine here is going to go kind of towards the Lings. The Bane's showing up, so now the bio has to split away. The Muta's trying to chase this down a little bit too, and maybe Rogue's just going to go a step too far. That was one of his issues when he played against the Terrans in the group stages, maybe going a step too far in some of the fights. As now he pulls back down to the bottom, going to start cleaning up some rocks. And again, just cleaning up on this map in general, as we see our Ultralis Cavern dropping into the back of the main base. Going to see 3-3 upgrades still coming through. Adrenal Glands on the spawning pool. Kira gets pushed back, but he's about to take a 5th base. And you look at the resources lost, and you can see Kira's trading better than Rogue. So Rogue really does want to make an effort to, if possible, deny these extra bases. Or deal some sort of economic damage, because that's what's missing from his game right now. He has not done a lot of run-bys. He's not done a lot of Banes into mineral lines, etc., etc. And missing that really is the one difference in this game from him being just in complete control versus Kua still having a real good chance to fight. And maybe he's not had many opportunities yet. He went for a move or two earlier and he didn't find much. Now is the sort of time where you should be able to find more, because the Terran is moving out to defend base number 5, especially at exactly this moment, because in this moment here, that right side base is still a planetary, so you still need to... It's still morphing into a planetary, so you still need to defend it naturally yourself with your army, and so you're not able to defend the orbital exposed base on the left-hand side as well. It's a good little... It's a good little timing here from Rogue to strike there, and he does get a few of these SDVs, and he does bring Q's income down a step, and that's exactly what you need when trading just that little bit worse off, which is very natural for this composition, which has also been stuck on 2-2 a lot longer. A lot of those issues are now being fixed. 3-3 about to be done. Ultralisks on the way out. Kindness plating for those Ultras. And that may give Rogue a little bit more efficiency in these fights, plus the eco advantage. He might be able to keep this going to win this out right now. As a Widow Mine is going to be set off by just a couple Lings. Still one Widow Mine there off to the side. Is going to end up being unburrowed, actually. And then does go in on just a few Zerglings. The Mutas here, not really an answer to anything to these Mutalisks as the Thor comes in now. Honestly, these Lings are just doing very well, especially with the fact they now have Adrenal. They're going to trade that much better than before. Yes, at the same time, the reason is Q was kind of pushing down into the center, but now Ultras and Banes show up over here, and the Banes are going to go off onto the Planetary Fortress. So kills this. The Ultras try and back away, but they will be caught, so the Ultras die. It's an expensive base snipe. It was good if you only use up the Banes, but the Banes and the Ultras, that's very expensive. But it does take down the 5th base. But does Rogue have any army left to defend this? Well, Bane's rolling in to try and connect over here. He gets a few of those connections now. Ling's looking to follow up, and there's not really Marines, so the damage output against Zerglings is not great. Marauders just don't do a lot against Lings. They're tanky, yes, but the damage output, quite poor. And now Ling Bane Muta's going to stream on in. Well, a few extra Marines are here. This is off creep as well. Thor to the left-hand side, helping against the Mutalisks as well. Extra Banes crashing through. And it looks like Rogue might do this. The extra Zerglings coming into play. The couple of Thors being picked off as well. One of them saved by the medevac. There's a few remaining Zerglings with a new Ultrask as well. Streaming up here. That Thor very low gets taken down by the Mutalisks. And will go for a Widowmine kill here as well. But he didn't actually have the damage output to one-shot it. So the Widowmine connects on the Mutas, which are battered so far. But this game will survive and continue for Rogue. And I think as Rogue gets Ultras out, now this is an orbital command as well. It's one of the bases that he just set up for economy that was trying to go top right. This not being a planetary is really bad because these are now 2 bases on the extremities of the setup for Rogue. For Kua, sorry. That are both going to be just exposed and very easily hit by a small number of Lings or even just a couple of Ultras that you just then don't have any real answer for apart from just lifting up, evacuating, and running the hell away. 18 minutes into game 1 of what has been a very fun ZvT so far. Rest of this bio setting up as well. Going to be stimming around. A couple of changelings into the center too. Zerglings still going in after some of these SCVs. As the Lings get in, they pick off a Marine, they pick off a Marauder. Again, a job well done as a couple more workers will continue to drop. And still some Lings going after more workers in the upper sides of the map. Bio Army gonna get rid of a bit more a few more Lings there. Now the attack up the top left being turned away. It's some real commitment of units. But if you're committing your units into these positions, you're not on the map being aggressive. Resources lost is still hanging around that 3,000 difference, which has been for quite a while. You're going to see a bit more of a straight-up fight here this time from Rogue as he commits in. Does he have what he needs? The Mutas do not get rid of the Liberators. The Ultras don't think they can push through them. This was a bit of a better fight from Kua here. A lot of the Banes just getting caught up on Widowmines, not really able to connect initially. As the Ling's still streaming through, he sees the opportunity to go chase some SCVs to the top right-hand base, which is a base that's only just been set up. I'm not sure if it's an orbital or planetary or anything just yet. A lot of SCVs going down because he does catch up here. It is just an orbital, so Ling's streaming after that in the Mutalisks as well. They'll force the lift off, and again, Kua's economy is taking a beating now. 40 workers and dropping lower as every second passes by. The Bio trying to come in here. Mutalisks trying to come on in. The Banes, the Lings strewn on through, and again, the Marauders trying to split away, but they will not see enough just yet. Still, the Bio is still pushing in. Extra Banes coming in through the bottom side, and they're just going to connect in for the rest of this bio, and that's going to be it. Kua doesn't have the economy to rebuild, so Rogue is going to wear him down, wear him out, and Kua types GG to give game 1 to Rogue. Right, guys, I am going to probably... Thank you. All right, let's just try this out, guys. So in the bottom left-hand side, our red Zerg player is Rogue. Okay, now you can see it's being jumpy, right? In the top right, our blue Terran player, Kua. So if I drag my mouse, it's like, you see it's like not smooth and it's like jumpy. I don't know what's going on. I'm so confused. There's no other issue here. Should I just give it a whack on the table and see if it fixes it? You know what? Sometimes it works. No, didn't really work, did it? Very interesting. Well, we'll just try and swap mice after this one then. Unplug, replug. Maybe we could do that really quickly, actually. if we just know which one of these is the mice cable. Not easily figured out all the time. This one the mouse? Yeah, it is. Oh, give me a second, guys. Sorry. I hate to do things live like this, but sometimes it's just very frustrating issue to have. Let me try a quick replug. Do I even have a different USB slot to plug into? We'll just go back in the same one. I mean, it doesn't really feel like a mouse issue. Like, I feel like if it was a mouse issue, it'd be more permanent throughout all states rather than just when I use the middle mouse button. Nah, it's more of a game thing, I think. Alright guys, well sorry for the lackluster commentary for the first few minutes. I'm currently on my hands and knees, casting some StarCraft G, praying to our Terran versus gods for some more good games apparently. Stream's about to shut down any second due to power outage. Yeah, it's not safe to unplug and replug things during the stream, but you know what? We'll live with it as we do see the Reaper coming down the bottom left. So that play being made for the moment here. There's the Reaper. Just going to start dancing with the Zerglings. Maybe my middle mouse button is broke. It would seem like it, right? I do have a spare mouse literally to my side. I just have to swap them out on PCs. So I'm just going to do that after this game, guys. So I'm going to do that after this game. It's just my wire setup's a bit complex, so it's not as easily done as it might seem, you know? It seems like it should be pretty easy to do, but it might take me just an extra minute or so. So I'll do that during the break. As we do have our Reaper making its way around and being annoying, then Slice and Chrome. Again, we've seen, like, we saw Dream versus Kura, I think, was actually the highlight on this map. Very choked up set of bases, as this is obviously 1-0 to Rogue as well. Sorry, guys. Obviously, just trying to fix the mouse. Didn't actually set that up properly. So, yeah, as we get this underway, we're going to see Link Speed and Pneumatized Carapace coming into play. So, pretty much just Rogue trying to figure out what's going on early from Kura and trying to set up a bit against it, as we do see this Reaper coming out and around this bottom side, and is going to go into the middle of the map as well. So Reaper and a couple of Hellions hanging around in the center as we do see a fusion core opening. So something we don't see all that often anymore, honestly. The battle cruiser play. Obviously still viable and still works, but just has not been as good as it was for quite a while. Two Hellions and the Reaper back up into the center. Fusion core back. Again, about halfway done for the moment. Our command center dropping down in front of the natural as well, so building this up over here. And as we still have, again, Reaper and the two Hellions making their way back around to the left-hand side, as we do have our Zerglings still on the way up here from Rogue. So Lings and Queens. And yeah, just Rogue with the Overlord speed should get a full scout of this. Already has had a full scout of this, so gets that information very early on. As you do just see again, a couple Hellions and the Reaper making their way forward. It's going to pick off the creep team already as well, so just always a nice little snipe down. Especially nowadays, you can't cancel those creep teamers, right? So if you grab one that's building, it's like it is going to die. We're just going to go Rotron on there. You've got the full scout, so you know for a fact it's going to be probably mech after this as well. So you're going towards the Roaches and the Spire. Unless, so it's going to be Bio. So yeah, Tech Lab on the Rax Factory is going to come back in. He's trying to trick Rogue a little bit with this Overlord coming back through, but I think you see the factory coming back into position, right? And it's just like, well, why was it off the reactor anyways? He really tries to sell this idea that it's going to be mech, but it's not. It's going to be bio. The factory moving off a reactor, the tech lab on the racks, is just too many little things to be able to tell. And again, Rogue doesn't see all of that, but even the factory just moving off initially is maybe a sign. Now, he is just going to go Roach defense initially, and then probably into a Baneling Nest soon after, and in the end play melee upgrades into the mid-game. And it will also mean, though, off the fast lair, you probably just get Roach speed. No need for a Spire if this is just going to be 1 BC. 1 BC, the Spire and the Corruptor investment isn't really worth it. It makes the BC very annoying. He is going to go Spire. I wouldn't imagine this being Corruptors. I imagine this being Mutalisks and just helping him push this first BC away. Then he's got the Mutalisks to again play Mutaling Bane, unless he really has been fooled by that factory, which I'd be very surprised at, because even though you only sort of were split seconds, again, those questions you can ask yourself. Why was it not on the reactor anyways? Why was it coming back, you know? It's those little things that I just don't really want to believe Rogue's been fooled by. But we shall see, I suppose, as Aliens still being pushed around. 1-1 upgrade starting up from Q, and Rogue does not go any Evo chambers of his own. 72 drones already, so he's already maxed out on workers. He's actually doing a really good, really amazing job on that worker count. We'll just see what his next step's going to be. He could go for something like a Roach Ravager bust or so. He's going to start the Evo chambers, so he will head in towards upgrades. So that's going to be his plan right now, as we do have the aliens coming out around the bottom side as well. So they're trying to run by here and there too, trying to find a way and trying to find some damage to be picked up as Roaches push those Hellions back out into the center of the map. The battle cruiser makes its way around the left-hand side as well. Going to start moving in towards this third base. And these Queens will deal some damage. A couple drones already dropping down dead. And again, the Overseer just taking a few more shots as, again, the Queens continue to push the BC away. Really good defense by Rogue. Obviously, he knew about it coming early. He is going to go Corruptors and +1 flyer attack. Does he really not know it's bio? I still don't want to believe he thinks it's bio, right? Like, I'm not convinced that he knows, though. He's not done anything with the Evo chambers, and I feel like that would be a real telltale sign if he stops missile upgrades. Unless he just wants to play like a Roach Corruptor game, which is so... it just isn't used for a reason. Oh my god, he's starting the Infestation Pit to go into Swarm Hosts. Unless he's just trying to... oh my god, he's going to Swarm Hosts. Rogue has no idea. God damn it. See the rest of these Corruptors from Rogue continue to press up towards the upper right-hand side. Marines coming in, sniping down an Overlord. As Marines coming back up to the top. Combat Shield's about to be finishing. 2-2 upgrades coming in. And that's dropping down from Rogue in the main base. Again, that up and ready to go. Drilling Claws will be finishing soon, or on the way soon. I mean, yeah, I mean, finally Rogue's realized, right? He's cancelled the Infestation Pit. He's kind of seen what's going on. He does start missile upgrades still, so he's going to commit to, like, being Roach heavy. There's a Bane Nest coming up also. It's a very weird scenario. As we do see the Marines continue to push forwards. Corruptor's taking a bit of damage. And just going to be seeing the rest of these Marines coming back up to the top. Going in after the Overlord. Overlord will go down. So Overlord gets dropped. Next to tank going to be unsieging. And units from QS setting up in the center. Bio pushing forwards into the middle. So again, QS still just coming down to the bottom left-hand side. Infestation Pit from Rogue. I'm just going to be seeing a little bit of Bio picking off some of the creep spreads. Marine's going to come through. Roach is going down. Marine's going to keep on pressing forwards. Again, extra corrosive bowels still coming down here as these Baitons getting picked up. I mean, it's just not a composition from Rogue that's really meant to fight this. Like I said, it felt like he just didn't know it was Bio at all. And I mean, yeah, he was really convinced it was mech, even though, like I said, that factory moving, maybe that was a misread from me. I mean, I really just felt like Rogue knew. And then I was like trying to find excuses for what he was still doing, and maybe I should have just accepted he didn't know so much sooner. Yeah, this is pretty bad for Rogue. I mean, it's going to be a tough one to get back into. He's going to try and use the Nidus to harass. We'll see that Nidus going down. BC teleports in and will chase down the Overlord. Bio army in the center as well as the 2 medevacs load up. So still coming around the top, rest of the Bio coming along. A couple of Ravagers going down already as well, as we will see a counterattack from Rogue coming in to try and hit this top side base. And just going to be seeing the rest of the Bio still coming through. Ling's trying to get a bit of a surround here. A few Lings peel away in towards the third as well. I'm just going to see the last little bit of Marine drop over here too, as we do have our Corruptors coming in. That medevac going to get taken down. And again, some extra circles being picked away at as we do have... I mean, the run by is just being shut down very effectively, right? And Q is just very happy to keep on fighting this. No 3-3 upgrades, but that's something that he should be moving towards sooner rather than later. As the rest of these Zerglings going down as well. The Bio army into the center. And the Bane's just going to be coming through. One connection will not kill anything. Again, everything being cleaned up for the moment here as our Bio army of Q continues out and across the map. And just seeing the Corruptors and Ravagers back down in the bottom left. 3-3 upgrades coming in. Adrenaline Glands +1 melee on the way up as well. As you see, a couple of Widow Mines getting picked off already. Corrosive Battles dropping down. Still this army pressing forwards. A couple of Banelings getting taken away out as well. And just going to be seeing that Corrosive Battles dropping as the bio splits backwards here a little bit. Ravagers being picked off. Roaches as well. Corrosive Battles still landing on a lot of this bio forces. The Bane's still rolling forwards. And Rogue's actually going to make a defense. Hello? Cure? Those Banes just connecting. Doing so much. And as we're going to be seeing the Adrenal Glands setting up right now. Nidus Network drops in on the top side again, so Rogue going to keep the pressure up. I mean, Rogue's keeping himself alive, and now it's like the last game. Rogue wasn't doing great, and he solidified, he got a bit better, and eventually now he's on, melee carapace, chitinous, he's moving into ultras. He's survived long enough with a couple good fights to do a lot of damage, as we do see the Bioforce continuing up to the top. We'll go in after this Nidus. So that will get picked off as well. So Nidus gets taken down. Still seeing 3-3 upgrades on the engineering base. And those two Overlords moving out to the top side as well. These few Medivacs getting pushed back by the few Corruptors. More Ultras on the way out at the moment. Still building up that Ultras count as we're going to be seeing Cure. Bit of bio over the left-hand side Watchtower being taken. More of this army to the left. And again, a couple extra Ultras on the way out. Chitinous Flame, +2 flyer attacks. 3-3 upgrades on our engineering base. +2 vehicle plate. And again, is just about to finish. Couple extra tech labs on the main. I'm going to be seeing 5 bases in total here from Cure. As you do see our bio army pushing forwards. Couple of Banes already going off. Corrosive Battles will drop, and the bio has to split backwards. Yeah, Ultralisk going to be taking a bunch of damage. I mean, this is where Rogue's going to be tested a little bit. The issue of the Ultras is that they don't have the +3 carapace. And as long as you don't have the +3 carapace, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble from the start, basically, right? If you don't have +3 carapace, the bio still actually does a pretty decent amount to you, as these Widow Mines doing a lot as well. The Overseer's trying to morph in, going to get caught, so no detection to deal with that just yet, as we do see the Corruptors intercepting some of these Medivacs. Again, just pushing forwards a little bit. Rogue's been able to set up an entire set of bases along this bottom side. He's got 7 in total. As he just comes in over here, he's going to pick off this building CC, and I mean, there's a planetary fortress about to finish. I don't think he's going to commit for that. He will lose the bottom right-hand base he's trying to establish. Rogue the one with the bank at the moment, and again, just really waiting for upgrades before he takes any larger fights, I think. Why fight this with, why fight this with +2 carapace if you've got +3 on the way, and that makes such a difference for the Ultras. I do love these Niduses, though. I mean, it's so hard to consistently keep track of these, but look at here, very good. Immediately sees it and slams it down. So that Nidus will drop as the Lingbane Ultra still sitting in the bottom right. The rest of the bio in the top as well, maybe looking for a push in towards this hatchery or so. And this army of Rogue coming back around the bottom side. A couple of command centers from Cure will set up. Our bio army gathering together. Just going to be seeing our bio forces still getting ready to go. A couple extra spines building from Rogue as we have our army. We'll take the Watchtower. A couple of Zerglings still being taken down. And Cure wants to make a push into this base. He wants to... And as Cure, you want to obviously keep on trying to fight. And in general, for Zerg, it's not an easy map to fight on. A lot of choke points, etc. Couple parasitic bombs to start us off here, making the medevac split means there's going to be no medevacs in this fight very soon. But is there anything on the ground from Rogue? Well, it's all down on the bottom side, which is getting ready to deal with this attack here. So you can't pull too much to the top. He has to pull something because these units, they're easily taken down. They're very low HP. Man, Widow Mine's getting some good connections here as well, definitely helping. The issue is 5 Ultras and 62 Zerglings are in the production tab. So that's a lot of supply that's just not in this fight right now. This Ultra commits in way too soon. And now Rogue's losing drones, he's losing army, and Cure is in the end making this happen. But this is a much tougher job than I thought it was going to be, considering the way the earlier stages of this game it went, right? Considering the fact that Rogue was, being completely destroyed in some of the earlier fights. He really did well to kind of hang in there and make this into something, and again, make it look like he had a realistic shot for a moment or two, but Yeah, at this stage, Fusion Core for advanced ballistics, 2 more starports, and I'm not even necessarily sure Kyo needs all of that, but yeah, he's going to go for it, obviously. I mean, it makes sense to be safe and to start setting up. He's got bases all over the map. He can absolutely afford it. As the army down here will be forced to lift and back away. Parasitic bombs are not being split away from, so those medevacs will die in a moment or two. Fire's still hanging out up here, and oh, I lied. Parasitic bombs just didn't kill them. So yeah, parasitic bombs just didn't get the kills there, as we do see the Widowmine still pressing through. The couple Zerglings still being picked away at. Creep Tumor's going down. The Roach Roaring is going to fall as well. And as you see the rest of these SCVs going back across to the bottom right-hand side. Well, Widowmine's going off, and as we see the bio just cutting away, the Widowmines will do a lot to these Ultras. Like that initial wave of damage chunks them down, and now the Queens obviously have transfusions, but they're only going to be able to do that for 1 or 2 fights. Rogue got up a few Broodlords, which he's trying to push forwards with, but where's the support? There's absolutely nothing to support this. And well, you know, Kyo's just building up a few Vikings right now. I mean, his army on the bottom side as well. As you see this hatchery taken down, and slowly Rogue is just losing base after base on this map. Kyo's going to kill this bottom base as well, so Rogue's pretty much dead. It just comes down to cleaning up this last bit of army, and really don't feel like that should be too much of a trouble. Yeah, Kyo's going to start taking some damage here, but he's got so many bases he can fall back to. The Broodlords are hardly, you know, killing these bases super quick, right? As Kyo loses a bit of supply, he rebuilds with Vikings that will not really be contested apart from versus Queens, so it's not exactly the best anti-air once the Viking count gets up a little bit higher. As you know, again, you're losing every single base here as Roof. You might actually just lose this game to like an elimination race to a base trade, right? His Ultra's coming back around to try and help, but he's like very low on the structures count right now, so he actually has to fight this. Otherwise, he might actually again just die to the fact he has no buildings left, as Kyo will load up and start to pull back again. He's taking his time. He doesn't mind losing a base or so here, building up a lot of units in the main base that will eventually be able to fight this army. These medevac's going to load back in the center, going to get rid of some of the creep spread again throughout this Kyo, playing very safely. As the Broodlords keep pushing in, Tipo's going down. A couple of Marines in some trouble as well, but yeah, as these Vikings get to work on the Broodlords, looks as though they're going to be able to, again, already force a lot of the transfusions, right? And that's the only thing keeping the Broods alive right now. And those transfusions do not last forever. They'll last a very long time, but they will not last forever. As our Ultras will continue to push on through. Widowmine going to burrow up. Widowmine connections all over the place. And now the Queens are pretty much out of transfusions. The Ultras going down. The Broods going down. And Kyo will eventually take this game number 2 to tie us up 1-1 in the best of 5 series. And as you're going to be seeing the couple of Broodlords continue to drop, Kyo does fall. And that's going to be game 2 of the best of 5. And we're tied up in what's turned out to be a real epic ZvT. So thank you so very much. As we kick off into game number 3. In the bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran player is Kyo. Up against the red Zerg Rogue from Jinair Greenwings. Obviously, Kyo X Jinair, now part of Dragon Phoenix Gaming. You guys see that solo interview, by the way? I knew these guys were getting paid well for the China Team Championship matches and the China Team Championship teams. I didn't realize it was this is what Solo said. It's competitive. And as much as the top players were making in the Kesper days. How ridiculous is that? That's kind of crazy numbers. I knew they were getting paid well. I knew they were. It was definitely like a big pot of stuff and a big bonus, but I didn't realize it was that good, you know? So yeah, that's probably explains why Jinair kind of gave out on Kyo, because they probably just couldn't afford. You know, they probably had to pay more to keep Maru, Rogue, and Trap, etc. on the team in SOS. And so that, you know, Kyo also asking more as well, because if he was getting a better offer elsewhere, Jinair probably just couldn't match it. It's pretty crazy. If you want to see that interview, guys, it's tl.net. Team Liquid, you guys know the place. tl.net, it's on there. It's a really cool interview. Solar also confirms there will be most likely 3 seasons of GSL Code S. He just doesn't know the exact details yet, but from what they've been told, it seems like Code S will return pretty regularly as well, just a few changes. So yeah, pretty much Solar saying what everyone actually knows if you're not a fearmonger. A lot of people are really convinced Code S isn't coming back, but Solar pretty much is just like, yeah, you guys are not right. Sorry, guys. Crazy. All right, well, we are setting this up as we go into game number 3 of our best of 5 here. Rogue versus Cure. As SCV comes up the top side, hatchery is down. And obviously the initial build order being established, as we do just have Reaper into the Marine, ready for the reactor as a follow-up, into the factory, and all of that good stuff in the early stages. Solar also said Bjorn's doing well on the ladder. I think you'll find that actually Wardy told you guys that like 2 weeks ago. And people didn't believe me. People were like, Wardy, shut up, you're being stupid. I told you guys Bjorn was back on the ladder. Yeah, now Solar says it. Everyone's like, oh yeah, Solar said this. Nah, Wardy had you with that information 2 weeks ago. Or more, I think. 2 or 3 weeks ago, even. Yeah, Bjorn can play while in the military because his military job was one where he can return home every night. So he's actually just, like, basically working a job rather than, like, some of the ones where you actually have to, you know, be away from home. So Bjorn's actually practicing. And, again, Solar said 6.8, 6.9k MMR. Bjorn is going to come back and he's going to be an absolute beast because he's already going to be practiced going into tournaments. It's crazy. So it's kind of wild. It's kind of wild. Bjorn might actually be the best player ever to return from the military, you know? Like I actually think it might make a big difference. It's crazy. So yeah, he can't play in tournaments because you're not allowed to earn money while in the military. So you're not allowed to play in any tournaments or anything, or stream or anything like that. But obviously if he's allowed to go home every night, they can't stop him playing StarCraft altogether, right? So yeah, 6.8, 6.9k MMR. It's really crazy. As we are just setting this up, a couple of queens dropping down the creep spread, and we get ourselves going. Banshee going to be getting into this going to be set up here early. So Q kind of going back to what worked in game 1. And definitely the early game worked for Q. Don't get me wrong. Like, he lost that first game, but it was not based on the first 10 minutes or so. Rogue was actually really trailing and struggling, and in the end found some really good fights to bring him back into it, making this the epic TVZ series that it's been so far. As you do see the Hellions continuing up to the top side, and a few Zerglings looking to maybe start coming down this ramp as well. We do see the Tech Lab finishing up on the barracks. As that Tech Lab finishes up, a couple Marines already working their way through the Overlord here. So Rogue going to be moving this in towards the main. As the Overlord goes down, and we do see just Hellions able to pick off one drone or so here or there. A couple drones dropping as we do see the stim pack setting up. Cloakfield is setting up as well. Banshee's just on the way, and again, seen Bio for the 3rd game in a row. Again, Kira really threw Rogue for a wild one in that last game where you invest into Overlord speed and then you still think it's mech for so much of the game. Kind of crazy. That's going to be seeing the few Zerglings getting picked away as these Hellions make their way up in towards the natural. Hellions getting a pretty good hit so far, so quite a lot of these flings going down as the Hellions make their way all the way into the main base. 3 drones get picked off, and a few extra drones as well. This is okay even if you don't get like 10 workers, because you've actually been able to kill so many Zerglings too. So in the end, it's 10 workers overall and 18 lings. And I think that's fine, because if this was just 10 workers, you're like, oh my god, the Hellions are down, you lost your map control. But for also the Zerglings, really makes this work out. Now, 2 Banshees together will get some extra damage too. And so Rogue taking a lot of early damage, and this definitely makes Cure... It gives Cure quite a good opportunity to really start overwhelming, perhaps, when the first bio pushes come onto the map. As Rogue will also be late on these Evo chambers and doesn't really have much to show for it. He has a lair up, but he hasn't started Bane Speed yet. There we go. So he'll have Bane Speed started. Even that's not like overly quick here, starting at 6 minutes for being lair first. Definitely not the fastest you could go for, as the Banshees making their way through, and a couple creep tumors already going down. These Queens still pushing their way out over the right-hand side. I'm going to be seeing the 5 more Marines still building as well. A couple extra medevacs in production. And these 2 Spore Crawlers of Rogue still setting themselves in the upper right-hand side, as the Banshees of Cure will just wait a few moments before making their next play. And it looks as though it will be focused towards that main base. I mean, Banshees are so scary when there's 2 of them, because you're obviously looking to kind of fight the, you know, you're obviously fighting 2 at a, you know, obviously one-shotting those drones, so they can be so frustrating. As they're just going to go in when, you know, maybe Rogue's distracted, you know, these Marines on the map, so you have to go deal with that. Rogue a little counter here, and this is what losing the Hellions kind of does to you as Cure as well, just less to really defend this sort of position. Obviously, he also sent his Marines across the map, right? But it's one of those things where right now these Marines could be out there and the Hellions could be at home defending. So it's, again, Rogue taking advantage of the fact that the earlier Hellions have now gone down. He's going to fight this Queen, which he's going to kill. Cost him a Banshee, but now no Queen defending in the main, and this Banshee just sits here and starts to pick up drones, forces the drones away from the mineral line. And again, Cure just denying mining time. I mean, that's fantastic as well, denying mining time here. And when this double Spore Crawler too, right, it's just such a slap in the face. You've got 2 spores, and you're still not able to mine from your base because of a freaking Banshee? Like, are you kidding me? You're going to lose another drone here, maybe even 2. As, yeah, this Spore relocating has actually messed up some of the drone AI there. And this has turned out to be real bad, as the Marines at the same time were over here, got a couple workers now in the main base, going to get the Queen. Oh my god, I mean, Kira is just doing so much in these early stages. The Queen's on the bottom side, able to take down a medevac, which is then able to escape down the right. Burrow coming through on the hatchery on the natural expansion as well. As going to be seeing the rest of the Zerglings from Rogue coming out over to the right. Marines going to get the Overlord killed, and we're just going to be seeing the missile turret from Kira coming into the natural expansion, with the rest of these Zerglings from Rogue still set up on the bottom side. We're going to be trying to run those by in towards the natural too, so trying to do a little bit more as Marines stemming back over. A lot more Lings going down. So a bunch of Zerglings going down there. Burrow is about to complete from Rogue, and going to be seeing the Infestation Pit also about halfway done. More Lings going to run by in towards the third, as we do see again other Zerglings also trying to make their way towards the natural here. A few Marines going to start firing away, and the Zerglings getting picked away at. Drilling close on the way up, plus 2 weapons on the engineering bay. And again, a bunch more Zerglings continue to drop on down, as we do have this Marine tank army continue to press forward. A couple of Creep Teamers going to be picked away at. Queen goes down. The Banelings continue to press forwards as well. Don't really do too much, and again, a lot of this is just going to be difficulty for Rogue cleaning this out because he's stuck on just Ling Bane. It's a really good tank position utilizing these rocks to deny this 4th base. Ling run by Marines actually in a beautifully choked up position. All things considered, it could not be a better spot for them. As the Lings clump up to fight it, they do absolutely nothing. Some Marines actually heading back home, so they're going to be able to deal with this Ling run by. And as this base goes down, Rogue is already re-establishing top left, which might be harder for Kyo to push into. That might be the base to take against Terrans anyways. I mean, I guess the Terran takes their 4th base here, perhaps, and then they can push up this top left-hand side much more easily. As the army in the center from Kira is on siege and is starting to be ready to back away if needed. And the rest of the Zerglings still moving around the left-hand side as well. The rest of these Lings just getting picked away at. Marines coming through, doing a bit more damage. And still seeing the rest of this from Kira coming up to the top left. Marines able to grab 1 Overlord. The next Overlord taking some hits as well. And the rest of these Zerglings still coming around the left-hand side. Banelings are going to come crashing through into the mineral line. 12 workers killed. It's a lot of damage as tanks will be sieging. Creep Tumors going down. Marines continue to push on forwards. And here we go from the right-hand side. Ling Bane going to be streaming in. Tanks going to be firing away. The Lings coming in from the back side as the Marines trying to run, but Rogue makes a cleanup, and it's a good cleanup as well. Unfortunately, there's no meters and there's no Hydras. He's stuck just on Ling Bane, which means that this is a fight where Rogue cannot chase down the medevacs. He's going to go straight across the map to counter, though. Widow Mines have drilling closed. There's a lot of them ready to set up, but they need to get set up. Because right now, the first 3 Widow Mines, the first one connects very nicely. The Overseer's here. As the rest of the explosions go off, those Widow Mines did a lot. Cleans up some of them. This Widow Mine connection. Wow, just killing so many of the Banes. And there's still units on the map from Kira as well. These Marines up here, I felt like they were going to keep going, but he's actually going to start pulling them back. Maybe feels like he doesn't have enough to hold. He actually does. He just needs to send these units forwards, right? And he does. These Zerglings currently in some issue because it's 2-1 upgrades against 1-1. So all of these fights have been a bit better for Kira just in terms of the upgrades. And he is paying attention to lift up as the Banes maybe start to move forwards as well as Rogue. Still doing a decent job of defending 4 bases right now. And keeping himself alive with some worker damage done. He's still holding out on 90 workers against 60. So he's mining that much more, and he's about to be 2-2 against 2-2. So the upgrades are about to even out as well. As Rogue, this high ground position is really nice as well. There's lots of ledges and just high ground spots to utilize here as a Terran player. And Kira's doing a fantastic job of utilizing pretty much all of them. Just consistently in positions Rogue can't seem to deal with. Rogue trying to re-establish the right-hand side base as Kira takes down this left one. He's still on 4 bases. This is an attempt to go back up to base number 5. as Kua gets his own 4th base up in that left position we talked about previously. He's going to keep the pressure up, Rogue, and go towards this right-hand side 3rd base. There's no units really super nearby to immediately deal with that. Looks like he's just going to burrow lings on external base positions, so Rogue not super eager to push. He might just wait until he sees that Q's got a larger army on the map. You know, why commit to an attack you're not sure is actually going to do that much, as these Banes taking a lot of damage. These Marines can kite for days against Banes off creep. As we finally see the kiteness play in starting, because the Ultras are on the way out from Rogue, and he needs it. He needs those Ultras real desperately right now, as we're going to be having the extra racks coming on through the lings down the bottom. Resources lost from Rogue has gotten into a much worse position here. Now 16,000 against 9.5. So he's down about, what, 7,000 resources lost? It's a lot to be behind, but he is mining that much more. Q having a 4th base will help to stabilize against that. Drops like this, like Widow Mine's picking off 11 drones and Marines pushing this base on the left-hand side. Obviously don't help Rogue at all, especially when he trades like this. Oh my god, again, so many Banes going down just to be not actually connecting as Q lifts up, goes back to the high ground. So a few more Marines in the low ground as well, as the Bane's looking to connect in. Queen's trying to fight too, some more Marines to the far right. They're going to stim in for this hatchery, which will take a whole bunch of damage, so hatchery will drop too. And this Widow Mine from Kira finishing up. There's more and more workers going down. I don't even know where this is anymore. There's just stuff everywhere. Oh, these Widow Mines actually were just back off cooldown. There's not even a new attack. It's just the attack that wasn't cleaned up previously. And now a larger army from Kira starting to really push this top left, although really missing some of the splash damage in this army. I mean, a couple Widow Mines, but only a couple. And obviously he's been sending a lot across the map, etc. At the end of the day, Rogue is bleeding out this game. That 4th base really made a difference here for Kira, as a run by on the bottom side doesn't do much. And yeah, Rogue is not going to be able to stay in this and will be finding himself down in the series for the first time. Actually, for the first time today, he's going to be down in a series, because he wasn't down against Hurricane, he wasn't down against Sue. So yeah, it's going to be tough going for Rogue. He'll need to win 2 in a row. He's giving us some good games here, though. Absolutely. I mean, these TVCs have been fantastic so far. 3 awesome games already, as the Widow Mine's setting up. Going to be blowing up this Ultralisk. I mean, still just Medivacs moving back home, etc. I mean, this is Rogue just kind of trailing units in to try and somehow do enough damage to maybe keep Cure away. Cure, meanwhile, is just cleaning up creep as well. Rogue is on 5 bases, but again, look at what he's been trading. It's now an 11,000 resource loss difference. You don't recover from 11,000 resources loss difference. Like, unless you're, like, keeping Cure, like, still somehow here on 3 bases, that is, like, the only scenario. In a scenario like this, where you're actually losing base after base, it just doesn't happen. And Cure's just got 2 very large armies on 2 different sides of the map. I mean, Widow Mines here doesn't go off on the drones, which is actually a good thing. I think you want to keep the Widow Mine shots, if possible, for the actual units, as Lings will go darting across. Rogue knows he needs to try and counterattack here. Kills this top left base Q, and then is pushed back by the Ultras, saves the Thor. I mean, Liberator's on the way out now as well, just to help with the Ultras count, of course, so really powering up that, as we do see the extra few Zerglings still being pushed away over to the side, and once again, Bio will be moving out to the top right. Zerglings pick off a refinery here, a couple extra SCVs going down. A bit more Bio still stimming in, and just seeing Q's army getting ready to strike into the heart of the Zerg. In the next little bit, we're going to see these Ultras pressing forwards. Bio getting ready to go as well. Extra Banes coming out here. And just going to be seeing the Bio army still pushing through. So Hatchery taking a little bit of damage right now. It's going to be dropping down. 3-3 upgrades still on the way here from Rogue as well. So getting them 3-3 upgrades up and running. As we have Lings and Ultras and Banes continuing to move their way in towards this Planetary Fortress, which is going to get blown up. So Planetary gets taken down. And still just seeing the army of Rogue getting pushed back up away the left-hand side. Yeah, it's not looking good for Rogue still, though, right? I mean, you deny Planetary and, you know, Kira has a new CC flying over anyways. This would be great if Rogue was still comfortably on 5 bases, which he just isn't. Right? If you put Kira back down at 3 bases, brilliant. But Kira's, you know, back to 4. You're on 4. Kira has a, you know, 1k bank or more. And it's just still not pretty. As we're going to be seeing Bio getting rid of a bit more creep spread. Again, another counterattack from Rogue. He wants to try and keep this up. He wants to keep this going, but it's so tough to realistically do much about that. As Zergling's running in, Liberator's going to be firing. You can just see these Zerglings. They're doing what they can, but it's really, really not enough just yet as our Bioforce comes up to the top of the map. Couple of Widow Mines getting ready to set up as well. The Bioforce is going to fight as the Lings and the Ultras coming through. The Widow Mines connecting here and there as the Ultras continue to chase down this left-hand side. The Bioforce continues to go running. And again, it's just going to be a Lingbane Ultra army that just cannot realistically keep on fighting. Marauder shots and the Ultras going down still, and just going to be seeing this entire army to the top left. This Overlord in some trouble. Viper's on the way out as well. But it's just none of it's in time. I mean, Rogue is holding on here. As Cure. Every time Cure pushes though, right? This base just got denied again. Rogue tries to go over the far right-hand side. It's not really cleaning up the game. It's just extending Rogue's death, you know? Every time we come out of these fights, Rogue is another 10 supply further down. And Cure now is about to take a 5th base, and that's just going to be the next little step from Cure to be one step more, a little bit more confident in these fights, because there's just that little bit of extra rebuild potential he's now going to have that he's not had so far. So that does make a bit of a difference here as Ultras knock down these rocks in the center. The rest of this Bioforce coming down the bottom. And it looks as though game number 3 of the best of 5 is, again, eventually going to be Cure's. I feel like I've sort of called this game, and I don't disagree with my calling of the game. I think, Cure has won the game, right? But I feel like it's just not over yet because Rogue is really trying everything to stay in it. He's trying to get up to Corruptors now, even, to fight the Liberators. Like, Rogue's doing all the right things if he just wasn't already so far behind. 14,000 resources lost difference in the setup right now as Medevac's actually taking a bunch of damage from the parasitic bombs there. Lose the space again. Now you're only really mining off of this space here because this space is mining out, so is your natural. We are 20 minutes into this game. These bases you've had all game long are not still mining. Main base is long gone, apart from a little bit of gas, which is about to finish up as well. I'm just going to be seeing a few more Lings and Banes trying to run forwards here. Connection in on a Widow Mine, able to pick up that. A couple more Widow Mines lining up. The Bioforce is firing. Ultras taking a bunch more damage, and it looks as though Rogue is going to hold. Hello? He was writing this script where Rogue just doesn't die. Oh my god. Why doesn't Rogue die? He's so dead. Like, he's meant to die like 1,000 times. That's worse than fucking Season 8, Episode 3 of Game of Thrones, where everyone's meant to die and no one does. Rogue, how are you still alive? Just about hanging in there. Don't tell me he somehow turns this around, right? Like, that'd be ridiculous. Another Widow Mine shot. Lings go down. What's happening? Like, Rogue just... He's still dead. He is still dead. There's the GG. He just would not leave for so long, and he was able to keep it going. Kyo does take game 3, guys. Sorry, I know it's a bit weird when the cast's like, it's over! And then Rogue fights for like another 10 minutes. You're like what are you going to do about that? GG's. Kyo takes it 2-1 in this best of 5. Going into game 4. Oh, there you go. Just as I was tapping out to give it a click. Where can we vote? You can vote on these maps on TL.net from February 24th. So February 24th until... for that week, basically, you can vote on these maps. And it's on TL.net. There'll be a TL thread. It'll be in the community news. It'll be featured on the front page, probably. It will be pretty hard to miss. So go check that out, of course. As we have in the top left-hand side, it is our blue Terran player, Cure. As we do have in the bottom right, our red Zerg from Jinair, Rogue. Game 4 of our best of 5. As we start this off, we get this going. Let's see what will be happening shortly. So Overlord coming out to the right here, as you do see the spawning pool dropping down. So spawning pool first into the hatchery. Just going to be setting that up. A couple extra drones coming in. Going to be seeing the racks finishing from Kira as well in the main. So just going to be starting that up or finishing that up and getting the Reaper started. As the SCV will make its way onto the map. Secure making its way out down toward the lower right hand side. queen building up here, about halfway done. So just going to be a little bit interesting, right? The pool first, something a little bit different. It wasn't a super fast, like, gas pool, though. So it's not like you're going to immediately go into roaches. Although roaches are still a possibility. But if you go roaches super early here, you don't have link speed. So that's basically what you give up a little bit. So then you can't go, like, roach ling. It looks a little bit different to that. And as again, we do just see the couple of lings coming around the factory. Building up from Q in the main base as well. So again, a lot of build up here, a lot of setup. As we do have the couple of extra drones still in production. And again, our SCV of Q making its way all the way back up in towards the main base. So yeah, bringing this SCV all the way back up. As the Rex goes into a reactor, the factory coming through as well. It's going to be finishing up in a few moments' time. And just going to be seeing how refineries are going to be completing. So that's going to be a couple of refineries done. And again, the Reaper continues out over to the right, so drone moving back around, going to go behind the third base mineral line, and just going to be fighting that away. Long speed continuing to go on up right now as the Reaper of Cure coming back into the center of the map here, and the starport from Cure just setting up in the main base. So again, that starport up and rolling. We do see Cure making his way back around to the bottom. And the tech lab setup already kind of makes us feel as though two things: either you go fast stim Hellion Liberator, or you go for Cloak Banshee, which it looks as though will be the proper choice here from Cure. So that's going to be his decision. As the starport lifts off, goes to drop back down. And again, the few extra drones in production as well. So Rogue getting up into some extra drones as the Reaper from Cure will continue out over to the right side. As the third hatchery of Rogue is setting up as well. A couple Hellions of Cure coming around the center. And again, Banshee, Cloak, a couple Hellions, all that good stuff coming through as we do see our lair on its way up. So still, it is a pretty fast lair from Rogue, and we'll see what he wants to do with a faster lair here. Could be a fast, I mean, he's taking a Bane Nest, so it just looks like he wants to go into Bane speed. I was thinking maybe you get into a faster Spire or something, but no, just gonna get Bane Nest up, get ready for Bane speed, and play from there apparently. Again, a couple of Hellions just out the center, a few more Hellions up the top, and we do have our stim pack upgrade starting to secure. We'll play the bio behind all of this as we were kind of expecting. So, I mean, that's not too much of a surprise. As our Bane Nest from Rogue on the natural, and again, elsewhere, these Hellions just joining back together in the middle of the map. Overseer morphing in, so the couple of Queens going to be with that Overseer, and as they push out here, again, these Hellions from Q will have to stay away as a couple of drones going down. Banshee able to pick up some kills. So that's going to be 4 workers killed already. As the rest of these Hellions just into the center. And a couple of extra backs dropping down. And the Marines able to push the Overseer into the middle of the map as well. So that's what we're seeing for the moment, as we do just see Stimpack setting up. We're going to be seeing the Spire dropping down in the natural. And a few Hellions coming through just to pick off the Changeling. So able to get rid of that. As again, the extra Extractors coming through on that third base. I'm just going to be seeing the Banshee of Kyo coming around the upper right-hand side. Rogue's Overseer in the top. Again, seeing these two refineries from Q on the way up. Now the Hellions from Q backing away over the left-hand side. Overseer, a couple Queens pressing forward. Spire's about halfway done. Evo Chambers coming in. And our Overlord's still building as our Banshee's able to get an extra couple drones here to the top side of this. So again, 2 drones getting picked off in Q. Making his way out down to the bottom. So again, a group of Hellions, a Reaper. But yeah, really, I mean, I know I'm not saying too much of interest, guys, but we've kind of seen this set up a couple times now in this match, and the biggest thing has got to be Rogue. The Spire is in the end faster. So like I mentioned before, it is what I expected, a faster Spire. He actually didn't even get Bane speed, so he wants to put all the gas he can into Mutalisks. So he will go faster Mutalisks here. What the issue with that is, A, Bane speed's obviously not starting right now, and B, you're not going to have 1-1 upgrades for a long time, so it's a big upgrade lead for Kua. And the hope is obviously that these, Mutalisks are able to do enough to justify that. As these Zerglings coming in for a bit of a wraparound. One of the Hellions picked off there. 10 more Mutalisks in production then. And that's going to be the first time Kua really sees this as well. He's not been in the main. He's not scouted what is going on. For Q, this just looks like pretty regular Ling Bane, and these meters are going to come in as a real surprise. There's no missile turret in the main natural or the third base. Now, he is pushing on the map, and against no Bane speed Banelings, there is a real potential for 1-1 upgrades to kind of do a lot here, as we see this couple of Banshee play into the main. It's actually huge because now they see the Mutalisks, so now you know at least they're coming across the map. Instantly, missile turrets are underway, and we do see Rogue able to make a push across, but Cure might just be well set against it. I actually still like the idea of maybe using these units aggressively because it's still a scenario where there's going to be later Bane speed and later upgrades. You're still going to have a big pushing advantage. He's going to give up some damage on the third. Wow, is he actually going to pull back? Okay, that's surprising. Maybe because he sees the Lings as well. He loses the siege tank here initially. Now the Lings go into the natural expansion, so he's going to lose this missile turret pretty quick. The repair is good. Still goes down eventually, but all the Lings go down. And Pure still has a while. If he pushes now, he's still going to probably hit just before 1-1 upgrades of the Zerg. He'll probably be able to force one fight. Although there's a lot of creep spread, so he might have to slow down a little bit before he can force the fight in time. Mutalisks back around into the center of the map. 2-2 upgrades coming in. And the +1 vehicle plating on the armory as well. As our Zerglings of Rogue coming around the top. The Overlord of Rogue in the far top right as well. And still just Marine Hellbat tank into the center of the map as our Zergling's going to run through. I'm just going to go in towards this SCV line. So already a couple SCVs being picked off. As our army continues down, and Overlord of 2 getting picked away at as well. So a couple of Overlords dropping here now. The creep teamers are going down also. And still just Ling Bane meter starting to keep on flying through. But it's Cure on the map. He's got position. Rogue really needs to start 2-2. And okay, he does that just as I said. You don't want to fall any further behind than you already are in upgrades. So he's going to be about a minute behind. So it's going to be about a minute timing window for Cure to make something happen on the 2-2. Nice little split away for the Lings initially, but too many Marines, I think, for the Mutas to just dive on in there and to get much done. And again, Cure for the moment just camping out this high ground kind of above the 4th base, which is, you know, now we're seeing a 5th base setting up on the top and bottom from Rogue, so thinking about being able to go one way then the other. Wants the tech lab with the drilling claws, but he will not get enough damage onto it early enough to do that. Again, Refinery taking a bit more damage as our Marine's still coming in. Overseer, and he's going to be chased away to the top side. And yeah, I mean, Infestation Pit's still just coming up. So Infestation Pit's about halfway done. And Rogue back down into the center. This position's so hard to break because of the rocks on either side. So it's this position right here. It's very powerful. Like, these rocks really make that happen as Banes go crashing in, though, and finally some damage done. 17 workers killed. Rogue finally finds something with all of his, you know, backstabs across the map. This army of Q is still setting up in the center. The Mutalisks wanting to come in. Not finding anything just yet. Top right. A few of the drones mining, so that 5th base is up successfully. 90 workers more or less here from Rogue. This position is just so hard to fight because there's actually just no way into this high ground for the Zerg player, right? Which is why he's fighting across the map instead. Just how, like, actually, we never really saw this position being taken on Lightshade, but what do you do about it? At the same time, it's not like overly, like, immediately an issue. I guess you set up here and then you can push down this way, but to do that more effectively, you have to kill off the rocks. Maybe it's more of a issue for holding down this bottom base, but then you've got the top side of the map to take instead, right? So there is viable options elsewhere. As the Mutalisks come in for a few SCVs. Now the Ling Bane going to run by again. Oh, that Widow Mine hits a lot of the Lings initially. The Banes at least are safe pressing forwards. Another Widow Mine shot though, and the Banelings take some heavy hits. And these Lings are not doing much, just picking away at depots. Mutas try and come in as well. Will not do a lot. And again, kind of a stalemate scenario where Kua can't find his way to, you know, push further forwards than he is. But obviously Rogue can't break that position either, so he just keeps backstabbing. Trying that again and again here for the moment is 58 more Zerglings in production here from Rogue. 2 more Lings getting picked off and still down the bottom side. Our bio stimming in. Couple drones immediately in some trouble. As these other Zerglings pulling in as well. The Banelings getting picked away at here. It's actually going to be quite a good attack here from Cura. As a couple Banes, not enough going into these Marines. He could have had so many. Meanwhile, the Ling's trying to run by elsewhere, and it's just a series of bad attacks from Rogue. He takes damage on the bottom base. He takes damage over here. He takes deals no damage across map and loses Zerglings. Not good at all for Rogue, as we're going to be seeing Cure still pressing forwards. The rest of this bio down into the center. The Bane's still streaming in. They're going to start connecting in on a few of these Marines as well. The Thor taking some shots. But I think Cure might have just had enough here to close this out right now. Would set us up for TVT for the rest of the day as a bit of bio jumping on this hatchery. Lings on the top. We're going to be seeing this base top right from Rogue as well. Still these Zerglings moving over. Widowmine shot dead center on those Zerglings. And it's just a bit too much, I think. And it looks as though Cure will set up another best of 5 series against Innovation. We saw that in the Kung Fu Cup last week. I mean 2 Thursdays ago. It was a pretty epic best of 5 TVT. Hoping for more of the same today, because right now Cure seems to have a handle on this game. Rogue is going to need some really good fights here. And it's possible, don't get me wrong, Cure might struggle to push further than he is right now. So maybe he can do something with these top right bases still in play. He still has 86 workers. As that bio still pressing forwards. And as we're going to be seeing the couple of Widow Mines starting to fire this off. Here we go. Rogue feels desperate enough to come in to try and break this down. There's so much bio left over, and that's GG to give Cure the move through to the Korean finals against Innovation, where they play for a slot in the grand finals against Uthermal.